ono so ye former technical advisor our Ministry of Finance and afi Owura Evans Edusei SML ne dia no womo na OSP say wode sa kwadu 78 ya bo mo no chese say me de kankan no ma ye hu hwehwema kwa kire ye pa hu say ebra na Owura Kanufuriata finance minister no woni pa say sa SML fu omu me ye hu mfa magana nanso bode tumi anase se okwan agye rebefa so agege yetode ama no de ma SML fui ema ehu sembe de je so mo diska so yecho mo ka na so na nya dwuma bia wo mo ensam na yakona bra fe bia abeduru eno no enti yebedi hu komo na fe yahwe mampani so asama waka se yemomodin se yebedi yedwa nyina ewo cd mu yenkoka dollar nsem se bia ebe yiza school fees cry be $1 yendi hu nkomai abidjafo ndamase ne momere mama kwa aba yenfasim yenhwe set minister sem fafuru so sasem yi mabre so ene si ye bra na mo aban mu no ena ye kan ye beto dwa se Owura Kanufuriata akosan contract bia one SML for sign no ye contractor e ya de papa ye boka hunugu amfaso bia eni so enso sabre no mo kan se na sa ban page for kan se mfumso bia ni sa contract no ho SML for dwuma wo mo ye no e dwuma pa ama omwe kan kra se SML for tumi aboa moman ye nyamfaso bi about $1 million Ghana cedis so dollars bibisa ene hu nsem bebre afi de OSP e de abani o se nipa nwotwe ni nyina no wo nu bedi o mu di ye no faso bia maso ama SML agi sika di kwa 78 charges mami chi usmenu
Jacob Abraham dasi mami nchia ahwefo ene Ghana fo nyina na me fancha kese fama wa so se abrebia o ma yekwan se ni ahwefo emedi enkuta ho eda wase ni sa kwanya ode maye de twato me fama Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia na me ka se owo Ashanti region e yerenso was central region when we say MPP ye presidential primaries no ka akrabi akani be ka se akato na bro na eduru so me gidi se delegates ebeto aba ama Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia because of omwankasa yedie and he said so she ni juma waye from 2001 up to 2017 ajakwa wonu media dance say oba juma mu ha yanka ncho say for 17 years experience fabra and na yemfo adwuma megidi said the maximum working experience will be here in any serious organization abro so about 5 years until so be over 17 years he overqualifies to be the leader of the party until majority delegate beto abama Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia because ye ntimi some party emro 17 years and sana position bi ho now say now fata na ye dia hye wonsa
mo party no ye say nim say enya no ne discuss de ba nim say ayese eyinidi so enu we so enu we afi na duru we so sana amoka no
sana ebinu ka no
based on that there ene na sana e beka se bia enu no so sense ebinu wo hanso no oba
sana ebinu ka no but there is no convention and any standard bia that was
the man na dan Kwakufu
o share your party constitutional what serve for 5 years you qualify to lead the party in any regard
with 17 years okay pan the year so kwa 24 years. So which is
me purchase say me calculated from 2001 up to 2024.
Okay.
He might be serving in other capacities previously.
Okay.
But of course I want to just limit myself to when oba limelight in no. And this will be also over 17 years now guardians so unqualified there. Yen mabunu na ye ba no. Ye mudu do se na betun over 17 years. And so ya say he call for any national position. Into what about Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. Now we are wiping away that perception say also some over 17 years and sana ya to abama mobedi NPP amanyokunum. So even the middle class the young graduates of late so we are proper survey say most of them now are drifting away from the NPP to other political parties. And these are some of the challenges in here omoyesa. And he said Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia it will from nobody anymore. That perception will be off.
All right.
And they are attracting more people onto the political party NPP. Mark, Mr. Mark, Ajakobna, the Mekafa OSP and the former finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta asam no be tiawa me mpese meche bebre o ho you see say o share your constitutional e kire say until say odi original emranim na emra na do so ni nse mo hu say nipa ni difo ana odi bem no me na wo yentimi ntina konwa yeso nka say kanoforata aye bibi boni bia dia ka a ebeti aka ho nyina aye allegations for me say eyo man sika ana obi afa kwan bone so a spend ana say edia yaje na yede ye free SHS abeboa nchirima yaje na yede ye omani ya abeboa ye pokwase kwan a asai ana say nsawom kwan egusu ya sika 70 enko se de wo se ko akwan hodo ni other projects enko kitinkiti group president mama say odi bay se sika o ha obetia ye no ahye mu kina mana ye ntime megidi se obi adi sika e kwan bono so a o se agi sika ni e de boa o man nchichire but until say edi nipa no begina mranim na ya find guilt ni de I don't think say I was say tena baby na ye bonus de to say papa yi edi o man sika typical example eye enrechi ya oka National Cathedral NDC back in opposition a pontificate say kanoforata edi sika edi akotu amna donko the largest manhole in the whole of the world asanki sika $400 million akogum ejakola menu nya table we ho just last week ya attorney general ya attorney general awonye NPP ni eko court ka Supreme Court said those payments that were made no yina enam emra kwan so endi sanka ye gina eno so ebo no se oye de bonini anase wadi esika kwan bo no so ejakola nka na me no e dey na nka be kan fa ho eno nti na me say I will not want to jump the gun and say kanoforata edi esika nimum ye hwe na asem ndi kura ebe firi mu ababia no ebe yina ye ni wisem. Lastly, the mechanic said, so OSP na juma waya. Despite the good intention they establishing OSP office now, won't live up to expectation.
Really?
Because so papa ibe di akunya. Anytime dia ni nyama wo ye ne more or less like pressman ejuma or den ensemble tuja without any justification. Several accounts I'll present here, I'll backtrack it later on. And to me, the act establishing OSP Act office Act 2017 at 959. Mijidi say some company for him be was say scrapping that office off. Now you maintaining the Attorney General's office. Now say make the couple
because what see yet say sa office OSP wada. Na ebo tani say ye be kwenti akatashe any project. Enu ti mampeni ekan mampeni na adron kan mampeni kan ho asem kan sa no be mampeni no yeye oduru amatina bi Dubai antintam eno work se gabe bai a wono so adwo nti no eye mampeni na adro kuma so ade bi a ogedi se betu abom yakwatia katashe ne proye nse yi free was si ade a na che se enya de ye due diligence anse na ye de sa asoye ne ba anase ye tu ndom fufuru bi amani si anan ai se yi free okra
ajakobra me tumura no ma kire osie. First nipa edin course our office no ye Papa Martin Amitu.
Yeah.
You know any stature in our society when it comes to the fight against corruption.
Yeah.
Okweshe office one. Ejakobra. Can you share what you for ni wahwe for the kind of impact Edebra Omayana? At a point he came out lamenting. And ye if and I no go resign and later ye de kiseja ben kweshe ade a mahu se papa no ya eho ade pa ne se oye press conferences na otimidi omanfo pictures eto flyer so ebe pronounce om guilty even before the court of law. Intimidity say despite the good intention President Akufo-Addo then in 2017 they established the office no, his dream has been thwarted by these individuals who had the opportunity to occupy those offices. So for me, say you are testing it back community, not still and kosu ya. Me say the prime person also kotia katasishe kan kroye any Attorney General. I the prosecutorial powers action in sa. Intimidity say empo say Ministry of Justice any Attorney General's office no any be chim near Minister for Justice, any Minister for Attorney General. I would have preferred that than creating an officer. You're providing with all the resources needed any personnel are here at the prosecute offenders of our law. Now, so his interest is to rather come to the public and just be pontificating at people or suspects of my body without any justification. Me this account no more court. And I said no, ye die any who is that would have been better than coming publicly to declare people guilty before. Because side down kuno kudam.
Ye sir office if you are. Na se dia opɛ dia wo kan se me de wo nsama wo kan na de be adwuma dia ususu se wantumi anya adwuma bia mo na nya so mfaso bia no na se akoso financial loss to the state
me gidi se yes de mu adi na nkai ma money ninko na de aka ne mo ban because I believe said the office continues to cause extremely financial loss to the state than even protecting the public purse. It's rather even stealing our public purse away rather than providing the public purse. So for me, Kise Javen, as the special prosecutor in that office now, it's a waste to the public purse. And I believe say, his office, because of his conduct over there, no, should be scrapped. Because the bail conditions are even, or they man for, catch up say by force, confer landed property, bra. I don't know the results are question. You move to do a send and cry after as I die. And they say there are some tools who see that. I mean, it's over them forever and ever now. This cannot be justice and fairness in our judicial system. And that is why I am always saying that he is causing more financial loss to the state than protecting the public person.
Roger, what's your name? Some more kind. What my brother no more kind. OSP. I'm paying another at here. Who did the one of the nyama ebetu akasa mafo gina so kwade so abama MPP sabre say no num say oba be ye adwuma bia but utie ne sem aka na say ye boka hunu nti ye beka say wo mu anya due diligence na mo tie sa asoye no ama say ye causing financial loss to the state ana mami chi wo
Jacob na medasi mami fa kwenye so enfa enchia His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama na membona baso the way I also rebuild the Ghanaian community in Ghana's economy. Na minsa enchia na bede che Professor Jena na Opoku Ajiman. Na minchia obi biara odi ne nyansa na honden ene ne nimde ebo omane chidom ma omane tumi afa ne tuma paifra ministers like ministers am appoint yomo MC CEOs ne obi biara am appoint na ono so ne din honden ebo omane chidom na metumi enka say without acknowledging nimbakura all coordinating these various ministries ni various CEOs making sure say omo visions or omo act and conduct are in line with government business and government agenda. Honorable Julius Debra yenimno as chief of staff. Na minchia mi am papa nom de Ahoy brothers ni special one koma kwesi Ahoy Ghana Paul say onkoda Serbia ano as an ambassador. Na minsan enchia party chairman opeja nsa na MPP for ye say ashiomo say whom General Mosquito ni diangasa na Honorable Johnson asiedu inketia na minchia Miami boss Peter Mensa deputy CEO shipyard and I mean a lot and many more. Register we dey full register na Jacob na let me start with OSP Asemi. Well if MPP ni ano say OSP office no smoke screen because a smoke screen or catch say their OSP no like a so name fast war a deception and a disservice to Oman Ghana. Very good. Jacob na me say a ban of corruption MPP bem with a clear blueprint architecture omo draw and mapped out a strategy now omodi bebe capture state resources for their parochial and self-centered gain. Mekanisa hwe MPP buy no bibia omo ye ya omadwen po omodi buy ne say e wo so omo bo man ne kro no. Mekanisa because from day one it was about capturing state properties. Scandals from PDS ejapade if a nyama eko ni bibia omodi SML agenda we esi under the past government, I mean Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration, corrupt people were rather promoted rather than prosecuted. Here a choir ye fa so ehu say siada pakita sasika pudwe ewoni dem and they vindicating without coming out with traces say this amount of money bank bill nimu e fa ba Ban say obi ewu sidie o say neja obi eweja sika puduo say na yet to keep his ask mano is that amount of money in the bank but rather in the room. Na say OSP hormo na omasa abe clear no say oh there is no allegation of a corruption. Meanwhile sani pakroya the $48 million adreji odona. Na yet ya say na ye bill say mama MPP. Say omaya there for stealing from Ghana. Now, let me not drift away from the idea say omo institutionalizing corruption. Now, omo establishing the office of the special prosecutor so that omo the best most screen at the DCV Ghana for it is a case neighbor. Now, a call OSP one more. No abaka say oh there is no evidence of corruption. Ye wa say ena Martin Amidu ebeka kire ye say the chief serpent of corruption is Akufo-Addo. He cannot continue there. And I must say oh Uncle, no, say, let's go and bring one fine gentleman who is a criminal lawyer. He knows the integrity of criminality. Now, Ejabin being a very intelligent criminal lawyer, Opa, I believe, say, they mapped up a strategy, say, Bibi Ba on the process of the faso. Now, we vindicate it. Sana Siadapa, as I mentioned by a buyer, then a few mobile. Tell me, what corruption case, my gun, and no more prosecuting. Since the OSP office no in their time of government even issues bar and your clearance and make clear nkofo issues bar clearance and omo clear nkofo because na former president Akufo-Addo the godfather of all corrupt acts. The MPP say corruption no name. MPP is the bean. Corruption dia ne body no ni peduano another any MPP. Now back to SML issue no. SML deal we are go for buy. Yabobo. These are key players in Ghana's financial sector and as a revenue mobilization stream. It's no share a deal we are and as see role in SML. It is clear a clear indication say it was cooked and planned. Which is a strategic layout a planner na omo wo fitititi say ye ba abemu na omo ba abemu no omo de sa kwan so ebe make sure say omo de adwiri sika na side that omo sa kwa omo de bibi be shareholder mo a ebe mo continue a control resources ye wa 2024 omo say omo lose kra they will still control the government and before now be na kan omo say when they are in opposition they will rule in opposition to be ben omo be rule in opposition enu bia ni it is somebody SML abese. Now let's not forget the mandate of GRA, which is a provision of the Constitution, Article 174. Actually say only GRA and the was acquiring say obe mobilize a tax revenue and I say of any kind of imposition of tax and collection no some mandate no air GRA sir. Now Ken Oforiatta, the former finance minister and ni accomplices we omo behind the scene at the SML at the buyer say SML now should come and perform a constitutional mandate through the act of parliament before and the contract be say it should go through parliamentary approval maybe sir through any parliamentary approval no. And this is a clear indication say there was a dubious act, there was a dubious dealer. Now omo pese omo ye it's anchored through those parliamentary processes. Now na say ode sa deal we kwese SML as here. That means say omo breach the public financial management framework. Mechanics are saying now the Auditor General and the OSP omo both reports show say the contract has no value for money. Was inflated and unjustifiable. Or say was awarded based on dubious assumptions rather than verified revenue gains. I don't know why they can. And from OSP and Auditor General. OSP ni Auditor General. Omo report no. It will say if it was awarded based on dubious, it's about say and a company only a buying a heavy contract. Who go into position when mu spearheading the affairs of that company. There's something dubious there. It is said
So I feel no the charges 70 charges in about for no see me
aside that man it violated the Public Procurement Act Act 663 in the sense say so source without justification. Exercise until me my be na me dey faith na me dey aba. It is a cooked thing. Now done without competitive tender and negotiated under opaque conditions. This is a direct breach of section 38, 40, 41, 43 of the Public Procurement Act, where is enough to put these people behind bars and to jail. But Okabibi wa say omo me pese me yendi wa say. I say me pacho me say Jacob na. Okabibi wa say obi awie sika ayenje. Jacob na ye build your mind. Ye see your mind. Obi awie sika na ye je a, obi fufu be say wia na ya je. Obi awia ye je a ye nche ye omo. Okay. It no say ye so ye position. And I said that be 100 years time. NDC fi abemu. Na say oba na NDC ni bi susu disika ni bia. Now why then we jelino so that it will prevent people from being corrupt.
Me dance. Ye mfansi na ye nka se medu aka ye mfansi bitumi di nkomo kakra dia fa mampeni mahama. The directive bi o dia ma say ye nhwe na ye sika ebedie nyina no. And I say business transactions nyina no. Yen go to in cities. And now yes reference bi e obra na okasa wo CD at 60 dumedi na say or dey obi import bi dey e buy no time or dey receipt no e kire no hwe ni nyina in cities quoted in cities. Ye betumi ade ma na ye sense ye kasa schools be bro Ghana ho mutua in dollars. Enti say de be ye okoto adan a dan no omo enkotu ni cities so $125,000, $450,000, $66,000. No mo say omo de Ghana cities mu a enye huhu do gbodi na obede hu say sign it no tuma ba beto enu achi aban so je dollar e de busia free baby na baby a ono so kotu in dollars. Until from now on aban so be ka say the transactions obeye ni na ahodo nyina no obe kotu in cities e de ma wo mo no nkokọ adwuma na so wo mo nkoje mo afi wo mo na 5 minutes. Ayeko. Ona wa ben.
Yeah. Na ebano the president ni initiative and I say the desire and plan say yen use cedi no as a major trading currency now. Me ka say ye bibia enye far-fetched. In the sense say oman ya ye wo mu no e wo say ye na ye building mine no. And there is a sense of responsibility and I say the onus lies on us say okoto bibi na say ni bakono $40 aka kire say enye mbra kwan me menya sa experiences ni bi about a week ago na obi rented dan and 2 weeks ago and my friend me bi say mbacho edan no 1 month an na obo $1 am ka kire say master you wo Ghana unim say sa asem we awaka kra no etumi ma police bar after you osi so let me see ye build your mind how say who wo Ghana now person wo ton ade na who koti $1 yeti ha say who ko South Africa who to me $5 ko to hwe o ti sa ko sasa who ko South Korea who to me $5 ko to hwe o ti sa ko sasa even Europe Germany even in the UK into no yen Ghanaians no yen ti memu for no and they will say yenya some sense of responsibility say you be prioritizing your city no because the more you be and the more you city no e be nya hondi o so bia the dollar ba na ka kire say $1 no kofa bank and say na buy one more into city na buy one more you be your city no e be nya hondi into no yan ye ejuma ye ji salaries no your salary no would have that strength that solid strength yeah ye digwa yesika no and I say edwedie no so e be very strong but say allow go trading in currency foreign currency dollar and I say pound and euro in my gain anymore a weekend
asema working nansan ya na yete say ombaye ayi insahomu ayi akran pokwasin sahomu kwan aban ko tu sika odi ama contractor ne so wo $77 million di ama no nti aban na advocate for see ye emphasize di enya dwuma aban corona so HS kama contractor ko tu in dollars nti no wow say menye ni cedis unso ka na dollar
you have a point there nti no hwe I was say ye ni na ye di adwen e ba de e di ba fako on this just like you have raised this concerns I think said this should be a clear call we should play that sound for government to listen and listen for good. Why I say because
Put me in preachy a friend is saying A and practice B. It's once Sakasanabano, I think going forward, we the media houses and I say yeah in your platform no. Let's advocate say as much as I say it may move on, let's deal with CD as a trading currency. The government would also have to make deliberate efforts. Say CD no in terms of mention Yesika on the floor of parliament. Let's do well to convert. One thing I may say, normally if Sesikano in dollar based on the amount no some more convert here I mentioning no difficult. Make I say at most any first person on the floor of parliament or boss Sikapudo local currency mu or pay Dani news all across the country. It's I believe say something I will say you take it very serious because me say bibia once there is a will there is a way. Adi bia person we bia no say will no ho and a drive no ho a ye beye. Okay. Aside that no education was say echo because what here in Komodina or say BOG should look for a way to educate the populace on it. What I say? It's no say what here say importance ewo hu say ye be use your currency no as trading na e be boa
me da se ofei sa call yi na say asema mampani akan no uhunu ni san isan say ye fie koto ne ma China ye fa dollar nwura China ho ye sesa no musika man san ye de akọ ye de ye friga koto Togo he kra Togo he ya ai say di sifa no kwanse tu akoto ade ho but obi fi abrochiri ba no the dollar ba beto ade Ghana ha na ye si de ne yira uji se mampani asema a wakan ebetuma ye adwuma de betuma ye adwuma kwan ben so na ebetuma fa so man ye adwuma etumi nya adwuma so a ade ntra
jakora me da se you see so wo be the policy bi e betudwa e fa bi characteristics of a good policy. One of it is it must have what you call collective action. Collective action is stakeholders are more influencing the implementation of the policy to become successful. No? You must get their buy-in. Into her policy, it is using local currency to engage in major trading activities. You need to be the government. We here be the private sector. We here the banking sector or the financial sector. You need the citizens, and you need what we call industrialization drive. Yeah. Now, when you look at President Mahama pronouncement, I don't know, say a policy, and I say a mere rhetoric, because I was asking myself, say, has President Mahama, as the head of the state, engaged all these stakeholders in such a pronouncement that I stabilizer now? Because so far just as you were saying, most of the transactions are it is in dollars. So why do you preach virtues and practice vices? Now when you pick the private sector, there hasn't been any incentive for the private sector to trade in the local currency. Reason is that the city is unstable. When a city is unstable, the only resource that Nipanebe call for to guarantee the capital is to trade in the major international currency, which is the dollar. So you cannot force the private sector to do business in the local currency when you've not put in the enabling environment to make sure are protected. Now go to the banking sector and see. Here is a situation our core banks are more dollar rate and as a city to dollar rate and a different. A different. Reason is that Bank of Ghana now or policy maker no, it's not even putting in the measures to make sure say there is enough forest for them to trade with. So why do you even in the first place put out a policy which needs all these people, key stakeholders in it, to be able to implement it successfully? Then you come out to just say it. I am saying is that he has all the power, the resources to make sure that such a policy is well implemented. He needs the buy-in of these people. The citizens must be educated on the long-term effect of using the local currency to trade, which is in the long run going to help the economy.
And to this says to me,
I believe that China a currency US a currency they use their local currencies. And I believe that when we were trying to move from the use of the Ghanaian pound to cedi, no, it was for a good purpose. And therefore, the purpose for which India is moving from that denomination to the new one I use, that's the Ghanaian citizen, must be well implemented. Okay. And we need these stakeholders to make sure that they help in the realization of this good policy.
Okay, who are policy analyst?
Obviously.
It is a policy analyst, you know. Who says a policy, say I can say it's a policy. Policy abandia bay, no. So tenasena so wo dwene ho a roben na mo policy analyst no betumi play na say then I would say yetumi ye na tumi adwuma bebo ye nyina so.
That's it. E bi ni the message me say you need these key stakeholders to make sure say you get their buy-in before you bring it up, because I don't see this as a policy.
Okay.
I've never seen any workshop that has been organized. You have referred these stakeholders to get their inputs, because this policy can be more anchored on industrialization, which is why Tama na yede trade minister eco vetting, and I say didn't pass it through vetting. Then Bisano on the idea on one district, one factory, one village, one dam. No, Okache me say Okache Omani na say she has not even considered that a policy. No, na ehamikakra, because you see when you are focused on import-driven economy, there's no way say you can make your city stabilize, because December year Jacobra, never do, and I say, Yamado don't be so many, no. You ever cry about or many. Sikaben, the Quackrano. You're first in fact call US and Gofeniama. You're first in call China Gofeniama. And therefore, if you are able to industrialize your economy, that is when you can say, that I've had what you call import substitution. And when to me, Cochrane, be Emma or many now be effective in local currency. And that is what I'm saying is that the one district, one factory, previous administration, they buy no. And me and fan talk, that's been minimum. Yes, working na the big fish President Mahama say or de bana sabe e ho sika kura ho aye den a wontimi nyeye no onfa na adwen enko de asha say dada, because I believe say a sanatwa and I say twa sano e de ato dada. You need not to reinvent the wheel, because 24-hour economy onya 4 billion courtesy goods $10. Onya. So how can you start a new policy when you don't have the means to even sustain the already implemented one?
1 minute.
Hey, Jacob, now there's a misinformation and miseducation here. In fact, the president's statement is not a policy.
So what is it?
Wait. The use of the cedi for local transaction is not a mere policy. I want you to know that, because it's a constitutional obligation granted in Article 183 and reinforced by the Foreign Exchange Act. As a Ghana Emra Edaho, it's you start
so man yes when
let me
so what do you tell me?
Emra no yeah man for now.
Yeah, man, so we're supposed to make sure that the Emra is implemented.
He is Masa.
We're supposed to make sure that the Emra.
That is why the president is admonishing to Ghanaians. Say, Mumma ye. Sana President Eka, when you new policy, you are a policy analyst. You should know well. Aside
I started my presentation by asking a policy, and I say a mere rhetoric.
Clause A of Section 2 of the Article 183 of the 1992 Constitution states, promote and maintain the stability of the currency of Ghana. It states that the Bank of Ghana shall promote and maintain the stability of the currency of Ghana. This implies the Bank of Ghana would ensure cedi as a legal currency. All domestic transactions must be anchored on the cedi, not foreign currency.
Okay.
Now, the statutory mandate, Bank of Ghana Act 2002, Bank of Ghana Act 2002, Act 612, Section 28, legal tender. This provision states that the currency note and coin issued by Bank of Ghana shall be a legal tender in Ghana, meaning only cedi and pesos can be used for buying, selling, payment within Ghana. Businesses and individuals cannot legally demand payment in dollars, euros, or any other foreign currency. Good. As a policy analyst, no, and a political person, you should know enough. And who say president no in treaty say they are from point there. I was say yeah, but it's not on internet. Kase muno. Or say BOG say omu that sort of education no
okay
na yentumi den and a foreign exchange at 2006 na MPP for the Act 723 na kamin kaina
for
okay I say section 3 and 4 prohibition of pricing in foreign currency prohibition where 2006 ku for time prohibition and pricing in foreign currency I say it says that no person shall quote price advertise receive payment in foreign currency for goods and services in Ghana unless specifically permitted by Bank of Ghana.
And ti samre nyina wo ho ene yetete ho abedu abedu ofei na enye na ye ho abronti sama pedika de sabre ya na nya twe na otwe ya adwuna sisu sei ya hyehyɛ mra no nti samra no ho de yefanya dwuma na emo ya nkasa
you see when you check the last process of every policy development process the last stage evaluation and monitoring which bodies in the country are supposed to monitor and evaluate a policy BIA implemented. Where is the financial management of the economy, the finance minister there, economy president, and then the monetary function, governor, on the monetary policy. So, you see, these people are all there in the name of the president. Who appointed the finance minister? Who appointed the Bank of Ghana? Governor. No? And I want a president of mine. So whose duty is it to make sure that these laws are, or say MPP enacted, are implemented? So right away, he's even admitting that they have failed. So I am saying that as a country, we need a buy-in of all these stakeholders to make sure that a policy that has been set to protect our local currency must be monitored and evaluated. But those who have been put in the helm of affairs to manage it.
Yet on foreign currency, hadwene enu tira ma bress hu se da bia ni sa na tie dia bibia ye ton bia no ye bonu buo ye to ye tonwo ye nye Ghana cedi ne yemfa adwuma na se mo san hye na se san hye no na se yemfa adwuma dia na so obi aba na oka se ade da oda nti yen konkonkofa enye se nyina ta na chimani mani efe
that is it
you see anu e de bobo se yen neritia
okay
se emrada ho na wo obi o se monitor na o evaluate na onye na se be gina bonte catch se yen konkoya who is stopping the finance minister from doing his work, who is stopping the monetary department of the Bank of Ghana, who is making who is sure say those things are done. Those who have been put in the helm of affairs must make sure say those policies that have been implemented are implemented to the latter.
And that is why the president is sounding the call.
Policy analyst Obama MPP NFA Roger T. D. Wilson so economist and financial analyst ono so Obama NDC. Madam asese wunya brebaye mampani na aka se yesika no ye nton ye bibia wo yesika mu eno be boa ye pa ye ndi dwa ye nton ade ye nton ade o ye Ghana cedis mu nti broni di ne dollar ni fa brochire ba anso benya kwan ato bibi no na wasesa de aba cedi mu anso wotumi de cedi na akokoto hotels awdo ye charge dollars nyina no wo munji cedis wo ho ebetuma sai mra kro ho mra tachi pin a ye nim ene mo yensan ko fai ni ehwese betuma yi ana nti yebada ase ni aka ne ajabi kajabi na yahwe se ehun sam besi sen OSP sam ene pagifo nwotwe nsam yi afi na ba charges na ba ne de yebenya bre na yaka wase ko pie court wie nso a adanse ombedie de ombeka fa ho menye maye waye aha na ofawura ye charges ebeyi bia firim de charges ne bi beka ho ni nyina eda no duru ho a yebehu ni nyina nti yebada mase samunya bre na mo hwe ye bidin de Jakwabena meda team na se so hyehyɛ de ma so bidi ho chia men yeho ayado mo kyena ye be hye akra mo nyina ma mo nyina de yi ani mo ni hwe